Ladies and gentlemen, today is September 2nd, 2013, and this is the KNKL Daily, number 88. I'm your host, Kienan Lafferty, and today we are going to be jumping back into the cards we're going to be working on for Comic-Con. But before we get into that, I need to take you down a stroll. I need to take you along with me to a very special place called Facebook, because a very, very awesome reader by the name of Ozzie Burke, as well as Alicia Watley and Brian Hogan, put together this awesome fan comic, and I linked it on the Facebook, and you guys need to go check it out immediately. Now, go check it out, and yes, you will be a very happy person because you did. Alrighty, guys, so with all that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and jump into the cam. Let's jump into the desk cam. I think that's what I'm going to call this now. I've been having a lot of fun doing this stuff, and for those of you who have just tuned in recently, normally I work in a digital medium, but for these last few days I'm getting ready to go to the Salt Lake Comic Con. So I'm preparing a series of cards that I'm going to be selling there, and what these are is just plain old ballpoint pen, as well as this thing and some Prismacolor markers, and I'm making collector's cards. Basically, they're really, really cool. I'm really digging them a lot, featuring like LOL characters, as well as today we're going to be working on Emma because it's Emma Monday, and that's what we're all about, right? So these things are getting done. Really liking this. Pink Tarek, by the way, that's one of my favorites. And so far I think we have about 9 of them, but I really want to see if I can shoot for 15 by Wednesday, and that's when we're setting up. That's when we're doing all the setup at Comic-Con. And for those of you who are in the Salt Lake area, want to come by and say hi, shake hands, maybe snuggle, we can do that. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and just jump right on into this. We are drawing Emma-san. Emma-san, and this one is going to capture a little bit more of the docile, more innocent stage, or the innocent emotion of Emma, because we got this one that's like really ticked off. And the other one's kind of like in between. But I wanted to do something with blue, and you guys can tell there's like a recurring theme with each of these cards kind of having like a dominant color. So basically what you guys are going to watch me do today is just cleaning up pencil lines, nothing too crazy, and then we're going to go ahead and line it with the pen and see if we can actually get some color on this. And I think we should be able to, because this isn't too hard of a design. But the biggest thing I've been noticing, guys, is oh, first let me tell you about where I went over the weekend. And I wanted to say thank you guys for being patient and waiting for me to come back and all that good stuff, being understanding that I needed to go down to California to help my mother move. She was going to Palm Springs, and she needed some help from her able-bodied sons, right? Me and my 2 younger brothers. We drove down there, and we helped her move all of the heavy furniture, all of the expensive furniture that she likes to buy from the consignment centers. And basically, if it's a bargain, if it's something that used to be expensive or something that looks like it, you know, designed by somebody, my mom's got to have it, right? Especially if it's like handed down from this rich house and then just consigned to some store. And it's kind of her hobby. But unfortunately, a lot of that stuff is really heavy, and it's not very fun to load on and off of a truck. But it's the least I can do for her giving me life, right? Without my mother, there would be no me and no Emma. So, gotta understand and pay your dues. So, alright. So what I want to do here is I actually want to color in her face, make sure we're getting all of these details properly in here. But I'd like to ask, how are you guys doing? I hope you guys had a good weekend. And I hope you're as stoked for the upcoming Comic-Con as I am. So I am absolutely stoked. And I'm super happy with how these cards have been coming together. So much so that I'm kind of hoping some people don't buy some of them. Like this Warwick one is probably one of my favorites. And I hope nobody buys this one, because I kind of want to keep this one. But I must sell them. And I guess it's a good sign if I want to keep my own cards, right? So, yes, I'm not just full of myself. I actually just want to keep my cards, because they're so good. So good. And I still haven't completely gotten used to this new cam, this new desk cam, and I'm really enjoying you guys being able to watch me work. It is something that I'm not quite used to, and I'm trying to get better at it. It is weird because I kind of gotta. I could have a more ideal desk setup because I'm kind of like leaned over this whole time. That's why I have the camera situated in such a way. I want to move it up a little bit more. Yeah, so you can actually see my face of concentration as I'm working, as I've said before. But I've been having a lot of fun with this. A lot of fun working traditional again. And I've noticed that when I let my lines kind of flow naturally when I'm working with pen and pencil, it's interesting how the style of, I don't even know how to put it really. The style just like comes out even better, you know, almost to the point where I'm thinking, man, one day I'd really like to just do the comic in physical media, like on Bristol board, and then eventually I'll scan that in, and then I'll just do the colors digitally, because I think that's not too hard. Maybe just like a combination or whatever, you know, because I was really considering it because I was like, well, it actually doesn't take that much longer for me to pencil something in like this and then ink it. It actually doesn't take that much longer. I'm going to move it over a little bit too. I was like working like this. Move it over. Okay. Here you can see my little, this is how I'm working, right? If I touch this with my head, it actually touches the camera. So it is a little bit of an odd predicament. But this is an old lamp. This is just an old lamp. I took it's got like one of those bendy heads, and I just like stuck the camera on there with a little apparatus that I found in the basement. So very resourceful. Very resourceful and very creative. And it sounds like somebody is watching Transformers in the room next to me because just the bass is reverberating off of the wall. So if you guys hear that, then that's what's going on. It's not an earthquake. It's not a nuclear missile about to explode. It's just Transformers. Alright, so let's go ahead and take care of this. I am scooting it a little bit too much over to that side. Okay, hang on. I'm going to do this. I'm going to move you more like that. There we go. Let's get you centered in there. Alright, so basically what I'm trying to do here is I'm just trying to get the basics of the pencils down. And I like leaving them very, very light because I'm actually just going to keep them this way. Right? I'm going to keep them just the way that they are, and then I'm going to use my ballpoint pen, the finest ballpoint pen, to ink these in. And in the meantime, making sure I'm not missing anything from you guys. People are asking how much I'm going to be selling these cards for. I thought 20 was a pretty good price for them, and they're really nice quality, right? Because I mean, I'm putting them on these big, thick cards. They're not like cheesy little 3x5 cards. They're actually like a thick cut mat board from the local art store. And then on top of that, I went out and got these cool little, I don't even know what they are, just like see-through little plastic cases that I can put them in, and they look really slick. You know, just when you kind of lift them in the light, and it'll help preserve them. And they are one of a kind, so I feel like 20 bucks is a steal as far as that's concerned. I would easily be justified in paying 20 bucks if I was buying these from myself. So I think people will be down to buy those. And if not, then I'll hang on to them for you guys if anyone wants to buy them. Because I'm sure a lot of the LOL ones will sell, but I don't know about the Emma ones. We'll have to see how good of a reception Emma has to the general comic public. Okay, so that's all looking good. Emma's face looks nice. And one thing that I do, and you'll have to forgive me as I stand up from my chair really quickly, I am going to hold this up to the mirror that is right next to my desk because I like to check it. Like I'll just kind of hold it against the mirror and then I'll check it in the mirror, kind of like flipping the canvas on Photoshop. Because I can't do that here, I just accomplish the same thing by placing my object or my art piece in the mirror. And I can pick out all those little tiny changes that I want to make. I really like that. Yeah, this is all coming together quite nicely. Just going to put this boot in there. Yeah, things have been good. One thing I learned about going back to California was when it's summertime, it is hot there. It is hot there. You hearing me? Like, it is so humid. And Palm Springs, it is absolutely amazing. I think there was like a rainstorm there right before we got there, so it was like extra humid, and it was so hot outside that your body wanted to sweat, but the humidity just like made it into this weird sticky feeling. And it was just one of those things that you kind of have to accept that it's happening. You have to accept feeling disgusting. And then after that, you don't really mind it so much. That was basically my experience going back to California. Got nice and hot and sweaty and sticky. And that's it. And so I realized when I came back to Utah, I was like, I'm never going to complain about being hot again in Utah. Because I thought it was hot here. I thought it was hot here, and I was complaining. But oh no, you don't do that. You don't do that. You will be given a reason to complain if you complain too much. Alright, let's take care of this boot. You guys can see this good? Alright, sweet. I don't know how people survive in California. I don't even remember it being that hot. It surprised me, and I used to live there. So, anyway, it's deadly. It's deadly, you gotta watch out. Let's take care of these fingers. Yeah, I just noticed when I'm working like this, a lot more like, I don't know, just like swoopy areas come out, you know, when I'm kind of relying on the force of the artist. I feel like my art style is much more swoopy, and probably just because of how comfortable it is to actually grip a pencil in your hands as opposed to on the tablet. I feel more calculating when I'm on the tablet, whereas with the pencil, it's a little bit more free-flowing. Free-flowing, yeah, yeah. Lovely. Well, let's just do that. No, that does not look good at all. Let's just do that. Still doesn't look very good. I'll just connect it like that. That works. Whoa, that didn't work. Okay, I'm not going to get too nitpicky with this hand. And let's actually have this finger not actually like, yeah, let's put it a little bit further up. There we go. Looks a little bit more natural. And again, sorry, I'm like slipping the page down. Let me scoot in a bit more. All right. People are saying Utah residents looking forward to their first winter in Utah. That's another thing. As it gets hot in California, but it gets cold in Utah. Cold. So cold it makes you miss California. We can just never be happy. I can just never be satisfied. It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and finish this thing off. Alright, so these pencils are looking grandioso. Grandioso. Alright, with that, I think we're ready to do some lines. Yeah, let's do it. Oh, like I said though, I need to very quickly check the mirror though. Okay? So I'll be right back. You can listen to me as I am comparing and contrasting to the mirror. I am noticing that everything seems to be checking out. Everything flows very, very nicely in this. And I'm not seeing anything that's really sticking out as weird. So, except for this little part of her back. This little part of her back, how it kind of goes down like that. I kind of want it to round. Keep rounding. I want it to round off a little bit more. So it's more like that. And that's it. Just a subtle change, but makes all the difference in the world. People saying, am I looking forward to the inevitable cold or flu that comes from the cold in Utah? My answer is no. But I am looking forward to doing some snowboarding. Actually, that is something that I do want to do this year. Let me see if I can get this thing working a little bit better. There we go. Because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. It's very important, right? And my leg is totally asleep. My leg is totally falling asleep right now. Getting up and looking at the mirror kind of woke it up. Now it feels like a bunch of little tiny ants are crawling on my leg. That's great. That's great. But nothing can be as numbing as the drive. The drive from California to Utah is at least 10 hours long. That might not be too long for some of you guys. I know some of you are crazy out there and you do your cross-country trips all the time, but for little old me, I'm just not used to it. I'm not used to it, and I try my best to avoid that drive at all costs because it's like a spiritual journey, especially if you take it at night, right? Because it's all dark outside, there's nothing but pitch black, and you find yourself going through like these phases, right? You're like very hopeful at the beginning, right? You're all excited, and then you kind of slip into this depression during like the 7th or 8th hour. But then, after that, your hope arises once again as you make the final leg of your journey to whichever way you're going, and you kind of pick it back up, right? It's a little bit of a, could be compared to that talk that we once talked about, right? When I was talking about the people on their journeys in terms of art, you know, they get scared when things start getting challenging or difficult. They're entering this dark forest of mystery, right? And I tell people that just like any long journey, you're going to go through these phases of feeling, right? You're going to go through parts where you don't want to be there. You're going to go through parts where you don't know what the heck's going to happen. You're going to go through danger. You're going to go through uncertainty. But those are all good signs. Those are all good signs, as I always point out. Once you realize that that stuff's going to happen, it's much less scary. I think I called that, I think that was a Thoughtful Thursday. I think it was called Stay Out of the Valley of Death or something like that. Stay out of the Valley of Death. But that is another conversation for Thursday. Well, actually, it's not going to be this Thursday because this Thursday is Comic-Con. So I was actually thinking about doing like a Thoughtful Wednesday. And let me know how you guys feel about that because I didn't get a chance to do it last week. And there are some things that I want to talk about that happened over the trip. And I'm thinking I'm going to do those on Wednesday. Alright. So that's looking good. Looking good so far. Alright. Let's go ahead and take care of Emma's face. Let's take care of Emma's face. I really like what's been going on with the style, just like the feeling of it. Like how I just round the edge of the character's head. Like this. Feels very natural and fun to do. I like it a lot. It's probably the funnest thing to do, like just drawing that round curve of the character's face, the side of the character's head. It's very, very fun. Mucho, mucho fun. Oh, and we have the ancient dilemma of do we draw the eyebrow through the hair? And you know what? I think I'm gonna. I personally don't like that. I don't like drawing eyeballs or eyebrows through the hair. It just feels really weird to me. So I try to avoid it as much as possible. But we are trusting in the force of the artist. And the pencils that were laid down had that going on, so you must stay true. Stay true to the flow. Alright. Good. But some good news for you guys. The side comic is nearly done. In fact, the side comic is done. Now I just need to put it all together, right? I need to put together the PDF so I can sell it online and you guys can buy it and enjoy it for yourselves. As well as the concept art. I need to put that together for everything that I used to make issue 2. And that's going to be pretty sweet because I had some people help me with the concept art and I'm going to be featuring their art in there because they helped me out. And they're awesome. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out for that. I'm noticing a trend of my artwork is becoming very geometric. Like I like to put points on stuff a lot more now. You know, like the points on the shoulders. I like the points on the hair, and just like I'm thinking of things more in terms of shapes now, as opposed to real form, especially with this manga style. Someone said I shouldn't say anime style anymore. And I'm so used to saying anime style, but I guess it makes sense. It's not anime style. Anime is a cartoon. I don't know, you could say cartoon style, so I don't know, whatever. Whatever. Lovely. That looks great. You guys can actually see it. Good. But yeah, that was actually a really good, it was a good trip. It was a really good trip. Taught me a lot about being hot and just allowing myself to be hot. Not in that way. Well, maybe that way too. Yeah, that way too. Accepting the fact that you are hot and beautiful. No matter what they say. But yeah, it gets pretty hot in this room still. While it's just the light. That's what it is. The freaking light that's over here. But I need it. I need it. So that way I can draw. Very important. Okay, let's draw Emma's face. This is where the utmost precision must be made, so forgive my silence. I always try to talk as much as possible, but in these parts, you just gotta shut up. Brilliant! Next. Alright. Yes, that looks good. See, I like the precision that you can get with a ballpoint pen, right? Whereas with a micron and stuff, it's like you put that line down and there's no like softening it, right? You can't make it look sketchy. It's either the line is there or it's not there. Unless there's some sort of secret art form, secret technique to the micron that I have yet to be seen, or that I have yet to be shown, which is completely possible, seeing as I know barely anything about traditional media. Alright, there we go. The little blush line in there. Nose and this little anime acorn mouth, whatever this thing is. whatever you call it. Lovely. Okay, that looks good. That looks really good. Let's move on to the rest of the body. I'll get this puppy finished up. Get this puppy some color. I'm curious as to how it's going to look because I'm going to use blue on this one. And I'm curious how it's going to look when I color her eyes blue. It's going to look weird, or it's still going to look like Emma. My guess would be yes. I hope. But we'll see. Let's take care of the folds in the dress over here. Good. How long have we been going? Oh, we've been going for about 25 minutes. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything over here from you lovely people. People talking about Adam West. Yes, Adam West, for those of you who don't know, the old Batman, the original Batman, is going to be at the Comic-Con. So, yeah. You guys need to go check that out. Come visit. Come visit. And I've got some really good ideas for things that I can do at my booth. There's going to be a lot of cool things going on at the booth. Selling stuff. There's going to be candy. I mean, I need to check these rules one more time to make sure I can actually bring candy. But to my knowledge, the answer is yes, as long as they're like small little dum-dums or something. Because who doesn't love candy, right? You got to get those people to come out. Come up to the booth, get some candy. All right. One thing that I really like to do eventually is I've seen these people that have like their booths, and they'll have, I don't know if they hire somebody or if it's just like their friend or girlfriend or whatever, but they'll be cosplaying as the character from their comic, and they'll be like handing out flyers and talking to people and just like getting them to come over to the booth. And I thought that was really cool. There was some that I didn't like, but you know, because they were just kind of like skanky chicks. But I was like, where'd you find this person? This is kind of creepy. I don't want to go to your booth just because of this woman alone. But then there were other people that did it really well. Like, they're actually really, really cool costumes. And the girls were kind of hot. So I was like, oh, yeah. I'll come check you out. I'll come check you out. But I think that would be really cool to have, like, someone cosplay as Emma and then have somebody as Tank and Nico. And those people are just, like, walking around and handing out flyers and, like, creating buzz and, like, trolling people and stuff. That'd be really sweet. That'd be really, really sweet. That would make me so happy. That would bring a tear to my eye. It would bring a tear to my eye. When that day comes, there will be tears. Maybe. I don't know. No guarantees. Just don't watch me. Don't watch me. I can't cry when people watch me. I'm super excited that we got episode 100 of the KNKL show coming up too, guys. Like, that's going to be really soon. And I do have plans. I do have plans for that. So, you guys are going to be getting something really cool. A nice little treat, if you will. All right. Looks good. Let's finish off this boot. And in the meantime, guys, I would invite you to cast your questions over the castle walls, and I'll answer them. That's right. It's time for Question Catapult. So let me know what you're thinking, how you're feeling. And yeah, we'll answer some questions, and then we will end today. And then I need to get back on not only doing more of these, but drawing some more of, not drawing. I need to put together the rest of the side comic. Side comic bonus content for all the little boys and girls. Alright, let's get this boot done. I love drawing boots now. Boots is so fun. Boots is so fun. Whoops! I messed that up a little bit. Oh well. It's okay. It's okay. Totally fine. Totally fine. It's all under control. And I'm half tempted to just be like, okay, you know, because you guys want some of these cards, and it's like, shouldn't I just give priority to the people that watch the show anyway? The only reason I wouldn't do that right now is because, you know, I just want to have something to show on the table. You know, I'm sure if I open up and be like, oh yeah, just let me know which one you want of these, and yeah, just send me an email and we'll work something out. You know, sure, if I did that, and probably quite a few of them would get bought, and I do appreciate that. But I must save myself for the Comic-Con. Alright, so this is good. And my other leg is now falling asleep. Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh, people are asking great questions. In fact, this is a very frequently asked question, and that is, do I give critiques? I personally don't. I don't give critiques merely for the reason that I just don't feel. I don't know. Like, for me, it's not really fun for me to sit down and be like, oh, hey, yeah, you need to work on this. You need to work on this. This isn't good. You know, I'm not very good at giving critiques. But like, if someone shows up with a sketchbook, you know, and I meet them in person, it's a lot easier to do that. I feel like. I don't know, there's just something about like a one-on-one interaction that makes it a lot more fun, right? As opposed to someone sending me an email and being like, oh, hey, can you check out this whole, you know, my website, these 20 pieces, and let me know, you know, on a piece-by-piece thing, you know, what you think about it, and type it up. See, that, I think that might be what it is. It's just typing back feedback is not fun. I don't like doing it, and I don't feel like it's a good use of my time. However, when I meet somebody in real life, it's much easier for me to just talk, and then the person on the other end, they're the person taking the notes. And that's very, very nice. So yes, if I do see you at Comic-Con and you do want a portfolio review, please stop by, and I'll be happy to do that. But as far as online reviews, I don't feel like it's my strength. And I don't like to type feedback. Alrighty, peoples. This leg might be a little bit weird, but that's okay. Let's just make do with what we have. Let's see, that knee would come up to right about, let's just connect it like that. Let's just connect it like that, and yeah, that's a little bit weird, but that's okay. Alrighty, peoples, it's time to put on some color. It's time to show your true colors. And we are using blue. Using blue. So let's go ahead and erase our pencil lines. Make sure we're nice and clean, so fresh and so clean in the areas that we want to be. Namely, parts with skin. I like to make sure the skin is nice and clean. Face, arms, hands. Most important places to have the pencils gone. I do like a little bit of like the fragments or the artifacts to remain in there. That way they can kind of look and see, oh, hey, I can see a little bit of the pencil where I put that in. Just a little, though. And let's go ahead and get started. Let's So what we're going to need is our Prismacolors. We're going to be working with that bad boy right there and that bad boy right there, as well as the black one. I need to go ahead and get that one out too. These last few dailies have been a little bit longer. I'm okay with that because we've been having fun. I'm having a good time. I'm hoping you guys are enjoying watching me work in physical media. Yes. People are saying I should have a boombox with blasting the Emma theme song. I'm actually going to have a giant LCD monitor behind me playing the slideshow of the Emma theme song. And I guess if someone wants to come up and hear it, then I can like unmute the TV and I'll blast it. But yeah, we'll see if I can get away with that. Alrighty, people. So this is the way that I'm working now with these things. I've learned a technique, and it goes like this. Basically, I'm thinking about all the things that I'm going to color in terms of just what areas, right? And then I kind of do like a gradient going upwards. So we'll start with the blue here, and we'll kind of make our way up like this, like so, right? And I just do that type of thing. I'll kind of color in these edges down here. I'll just kind of start to make like a little pattern, if you will. As you can see here, making patterns, making Christmas. Seeing what works for us. That's looking pretty good. Probably fill this in because it's going to be a shadow. Okay, so I start with something like that, right? And there's like some cool texture in that already. You can see that. And then what I do is I come in with this blue, this other blue. What I'll do is I'll begin blending, right? I'm just kind of laying down this stuff, this lighter blue, and just blending what remains. And what you get is actually a really, really cool effect. Like a very, very subtle gradient. And you get some awesome texture in there. And the markers just blend very, very naturally. So there you go, just like that. Now, let's go ahead and think what else we wanted to paint blue. Because I'm thinking I think I want to paint her boots blue as well. Like I'm going to go blue here, blue here, blue here, and on her eyes, and then blue on the axe. So let's go with the things that I'm sure of first, and that is definitely going to be the axe. I'm for sure going to paint the axe blue paint. Yeah. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Maybe I'll put some blue blood on there. Yeah, put some blue blood. Yeah, baby. Okay, so there you go with that. You just go ahead and very, very quickly just lay this in because I really like the lightness of this blue to kind of show. And it seems like the lightness comes through very well if you work quickly with it, right? As opposed to taking your time. However, this does run a high risk of you going outside of the lines, but sometimes that's just something you gotta take. I'll just go back in and blend that stuff. And that looks good. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, let's take care of the eyes. Let's take care of the eyes. I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do one of these actually. I'm gonna take the fine color here. Go right across the top like that and that. And I'll fill in the rest with the light color. Dang, that looks good. Great to meet ya. Alright, same thing on this little spot here. By the way, sorry if I'm chucking that. It's blowing out your ears because the desk cam does come with some danger. I'll try not to slam the actual pen down in your ears. All right, yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at this, and we definitely need blue on the boots. So let's go ahead and do that. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to color the boot blue and leave the laces white. I think that'll actually look really nice. Although, the way that I usually do it in the comic is I don't color, or I do color the laces. So I wonder if that's going to look weird. Well, only one way to find out, right? Let's go ahead and just do it. Let's commit. I'm so much more confident today than I was the first day I did this. I was Very scared. I was a scared little puppy on those days compared to how I am now. I like it. I'm drunk with power now. I'm drunk with Prisma power! Alright, so let's go ahead and take care of that. Taking care of business. Good, 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 and good. Hey, look at that. See, I love the texture that just comes through that. Like just the little blues and gradients that are happening within there. It looks really cool. Very cool, very cool. And I actually do like the white laces. The white laces are a nice touch. Now another thing that I really like to do is I'll actually come back in through here and I'm going to add a little bit more shadow in here. Just by kind of like double layering the pen. You see that right there? I'll just add in a little bit more shadow by second coating the pen. Simple, yeah? I'll double coat that right there as well. Put a little shape in there. And maybe a little shape in there too. So I like that. It's very versatile and it creates a cool texture going on there. Alrighty then. And then this back boot, I think I'll just color this light blue so it stays sort of in the background, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think I'm just going to keep it light blue. And hopefully that doesn't just blend in and make it look like a big blob. That is what I'm hoping. Although I kind of like that little white line that's staying there. That looks nice. Maybe I'll keep it. Can I keep him? And the leg will come up like that, and the blue is just going to go around like that. Alrighty, peoples. That's basically how we roll. That's the way the cookie crumbles. I think that looks pretty good. What I'll do is actually go back through here and do a darker blue on the edge there. Just to really push this boot out from this one. You see what I'm talking about? Just the value. So you can squint and you can see, oh yeah, that boot is clearly in front of the other one. And I think that looks pretty dang good. I actually really like this a lot. It looks great! Simon is asking a great question. He's asking, how do you deal with transitioning from traditional to digital and vice versa? You know, I mean, if you just look at the last couple days of me doing this, like back when I first started doing it, it was all new to me, right? And I'm still kind of figuring things out as I go. But I think the biggest thing that you need to realize when you're going from traditional to digital is it's almost like what do you have to do to get the effect that you're looking for? And what I mean by that is like for gradients and stuff, you know, I had to figure out how I was going to be able to do that. And I did some experiments back with this Wayna one, or Lulu rather. And you can see how I was kind of like getting it started, how I was doing the edge of the hat and then gradating it up. But it wasn't exact. It still wasn't the exact thing I was looking for. It wasn't the exact style or effect I was going for. And then very quickly I realized that I actually needed to be a little bit more subtle. Same thing with this ribbon one. You know, see how there's all these multiple colors in here, and I'm trying to like simulate the shine going on her little whatever bunny suit. You know, and just the multitude of color kind of makes it look, I don't know, in my opinion, it looks unfinished as opposed to something like this. This looks like a treatment. You know, one color is a treatment. So just little things like that. I think maybe that's what I'd suggest to you, that if you want to go from digital to traditional, start simple. Think of a simple design theme that you can go for and be like, hey, I'm just going to use one color, and then I'm going to see if I can make a cool looking style out of this, as opposed to being like, okay, I got to go from traditional or I gotta go from digital to traditional, and I gotta paint every single little color in here. I gotta paint everything exactly the way it's supposed to be. And you can do that too. But for me, I think simplicity is the key, and it's something that you should go for when you're doing anything traditional. My opinion. My opinion. All right, guys. So we're gonna start weighting lines. Weighting lines. I love weighting lines. This is basically where we go back through and we kick up the edges of our character a notch so that way it pops out from the rest of the drawing and it creates a clear silhouette. And yeah, I think we're actually going to take this to the end. We're going to push this to the limit, and I'll take it all the way to the end, and then we'll end the episode. Because it seems like you guys don't mind sticking around. And if you need to go, then you can just go. It will not offend me. But you know what does, well, I was going to say, you know what does offend me, though? But it really didn't. I was watching this really cool video from Freddie W. For those of you who don't know who that is, he's from the Rocket Jump Productions on YouTube, where they basically make, you've probably seen one of his videos on YouTube, where he just takes like, hey, these video games, and then he makes them real, and he does all these awesome special effects and stuff. And he recently did a movie called Video Game High School. And in that movie, in a certain scene where I think it's the guy's walking into a girl's room, on the wall is actually a picture of the scout girl from Team Fortress 2, the one that I drew, right? And it's just there on the wall, just chilling, right? And I couldn't believe it at first. I was like, is that the scout girl, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, they totally just took my art and used it, you know, without my permission. And, you know, normally I'd be pretty pissed, but, you know, since it is Freddie W., I was honored, you know. I was like, hey, that's cool that they used it, but still, I'm gonna contact them and be like, hey, I noticed you like my art. Since you used it in your video without my permission, you want to give me some work? You want to give me some work on your next video? On your next thing? Because I'd love to work with him. And apparently he lives in Provo here too. He lives right here in Utah. So we could probably set up a lunch meeting with him. Because that'd be really cool. I don't know exactly what I could do for him, but figure something out. But yeah, go check out Video Game High School. And it's the scene right before the girl shows the guy the hidden dance game in her closet, I think, or the hidden dance game in the garage, I forget. But yeah, it's just in her room. I totally forgot the characters' names too. But that movie's just good. That movie's good in general. I was really happy to see that. My brother showed it to me. We were watching it in California. And that was a good time. All right. Ooh, yeah. The only thing that I don't like about traditional media is it's permanent, right? Once it's down, you're done, right? No going back. No Control Z in here. Not up in here. One thing that I kind of want to do is I kind of want to make a thick line right here, but I'm just going to be careful, and I'll go back and do that with the thinner pen. Because I don't know if I want to put a thick outline across this boot, because I think it'll help bring her silhouette forward if I don't do that. It'll help clarify the pose. So I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in just a second. I'm going to finish this boot here. I'll move on to that. Some people are saying, you're in Provo? Sweet! I guess other people live in Provo too. I'm not living in Provo. I actually live like 20 minutes south of Provo in a place called Lehigh. Lehigh! Alright guys, so you can see right here what I did. Basically just took the lines and kicked it up a notch around the edges so it improves the silhouette, improves readability. And now we're going to go in and we're going to do some very, very fine adjustments. Fine line weighting. Alright? This is the last thing I do. Basically all I'm doing here is just going back in and weighting the rest of the lines that need to be weighted. You know, the first pass is basically like heavy line weighting. Now the second one is just kind of medium line weighting, and that has to do with kind of like the arm here. See that? And it actually helps to kind of clean up some of your mistakes. Like I noticed there's a little bit of bleeding happening here with the marker, so I can go back in there and kind of thicken the line around it, and it kind of hides that a little bit, hides the bleeding of the marker. Make it look very nice. Whoops! That messed it up a tiny bit. That's okay. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. All right. Alright, it's good. Let's get this leg. I hope you guys have enjoyed this today. This is actually a very fun project, as usual. But I've really been enjoying this desktop cam. That could be confusing because usually I do have the desktop cam recording my computer desktop. But that still didn't make sense. But you know what I'm saying. The desk cam. The desk cam here. As I flip off my own drawing. Yeah, that's awesome. Those are the only fingers I had available. I'm sorry, Emma. I didn't mean it. Didn't mean it. Okay. Let's hit the edge of this face here, and we are done. Done a Rooski. Stick to the edge, stick to the outside where it's safe. That actually looks good as it is. Gotta hit the edge of this hair too, actually. Spoke too soon. I like to go back through and kind of clean up a couple of these edges. Like you'll notice some of the points, they kind of get rounded a little bit. So I like to go back in and just kind of hit the edge and make it really pointy. Probably not necessary, but I'm all about quality, baby. I'm all about going the extra mile. And I think I'll keep the blood off of the axe in this one because this is supposed to be a more charming picture, more cute. So I'll keep the blood off the axe. And that is looking pretty good. Pretty dang good. Curious as to whether I want to kind of highlight the edge of these laces because they are technically overlapping. Just a tad bit. Yeah. Let's do the hair, and I will put a slight outline on that boot because it does look a little out of place now that I'm done with everything else. Or does it? I wish I wouldn't have lined this part. So because of that, I do have to go back in here and just line it a tad bit. Line it just a tad bit. Cool. Alright, guys. Now the only thing we have left to do is put the final touch, right? I think you know what that is. The Ghetto Signature. There you go. Front and back. So one time I was signing a poster and I nearly misspelled my own name. I nearly messed up my own signature. I was like, I don't even know how to spell my own name. I was just so nervous. It's okay. It's the mastercraft. Even if it's a mistake, it was intended by the artist. Alrighty, people. Cam only. Look at my lovely face. I like this angle, so you can see all the hair that grows underneath my chin. It's really attractive. I like that. Alrighty, peoples. I think rather than bore you with just answering more and more questions. I should have, like, I got to get better, more efficient at doing this. But I'm going to go ahead and load up some epic outro music. And I'm not seeing many. Oh, there is one question that I do want to answer. Someone's asking about what type of boards am I drawing on. And they are basically, if you go to your art store and you talk about mat boards, or you ask them where their mat boards are, you'll usually, those are the things that they put around the picture frames, the thick board that they put around the picture frames. And the place that I live next to, they actually cut them into 5x7 cards, right? So it's really, really thick, and it's not like a crappy, flimsy piece of 3x5 card. And it gives you like a really cool, I don't know, just like finished look. And I just really like the way these cards look when you're all done with them. They just feel amazing. You pick them up and they have weight to them. They're very weighty. So with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and play some epic outro music. Where is it? There we go. I want to thank you guys once again for joining me live on twitch.tv. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Tutorial Tuesday. Until then, you guys take care. See ya.